All right, so in this video, which is number 4 in our series related to getting started in the course, I want to talk a bit about the um, homework and the workbook exercises. I'm not in student view now. I'm specifically not in student view because when I go in student view, I'm not able to access the online textbook resources accurately because it's in kind of a weird canvas student view. I'm the teacher, you usually have a teacher view, etc. So anyway, but you can follow along easily. You'll see this same kind of view like we were just looking at. You'll see two links, one that goes to the chapter 1 homework and then one that is chapter 1 workbook exercises. So these are both different types of, quote unquote homework, if you will. The one that says specifically homework and it's due earlier, you'll see the workbook exercises due a week later. This homework is going to be the first part that you complete. So again, like I mentioned in my previous video, to start a specific chapter, you're going to want to watch the video lecture. You're going to complete the notes. We will have an in-class quiz and in-class assignments in the chapter. I'll talk about those in a following video a little bit. But you will have homework and the workbook exercises, like I said. And this first homework, the initial part of your homework that you'll do, the assignment there, is going to be due earlier, like I said, on the same day that we'll have the quiz and the notes due. So hopefully the succession or kind of the progression of how I would imagine most efficiently to address a chapter is you start with the video lecture, complete the notes, and then go in to work on your homework. Okay, so at this point, you need your online textbook access, so you will have purchased it and you know how to access the materials from watching the other video. And then you're going to go in and open up this chapter 1 homework page here, this module. And there's two links. The one that's going to take you specifically to the homework here is that rectangular gray button that we talked about previously when it came to actually accessing the online textbook, etc. And then I also have a link to a video here of a homework walkthrough that you can reference while you're completing your homework to help you with the completion of it. Okay, so the first thing let's do, let's click on our homework online resources button. So you're going to see a screen that pops up that looks something like this. One thing that is a little quirky with the online resources that I'm not the biggest fan of is that they often use this terminology of quiz for everything. And I was trying to see if I could reset this because you'll have a little bit of a different screen. I had clicked in here before, so it said continue the last preview. You're going to have something that says get started, essentially. But anyway, it'll say quiz, so don't be confused by that. It is the homework, even though they use this quiz terminology. It's just what they call it, essentially. So anyway, so you're going to come in to a screen like this. You're going to click on start. Mine says continue. Yours will say start if it's the first time you access it. And then it'll take you to a screen with a number of different questions here. There's a navigation tab. You can expand or hide. And here we go, start a new preview. And they call it a preview. The terminology is just a little funny with these things. So if I'm starting, you're going to be taken to question 1 and a quick little walkthrough of the homework. Then you're going to come in here and put information in, and then you'll navigate to the next page. There's 10 questions in the homework, as you can see. And one thing that I do like about the homework in this structure is that they provide you with a button here that you can click to check to see which portions of the question you've gotten accurate or gotten correct or are not correct. And so that helps kind of guide you along. And so you're going to click into these little boxes to input the answers, and you will check your answers as you go. And you can use this box similar to like an Excel type of formula. So if we wanted to do, at least I think you can. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Sorry, I thought you could actually do equal signs. Okay, never mind. That's not right. Sorry. So you might have to do some addition on a calculator, or if you have Excel open separately, if you have two screens or something like that. But if you're going to do, total assets, step one, you're going to figure out all your assets. So all of these things, add these values together, put that in there, put liabilities, put net worth, and you'll get your answers. And so that's, you do your, here, I'll show you what it looks like too. If you put the wrong answers in, you hit check, and then it'll give you, notes on whether you have this right or not. And just to contrast that with if you actually have it right, I'll just do this one because it's easy. 6,000 plus 9,300 would be 15,300. Oh, plus the mortgage. Oh, geez. Okay. This time I have to make it a little harder. Let's see if I can do the math in my head. 15 plus 23 is 78. 78,900, I think. Let's see if I get that right. No. What did I miss? Oh, it's only, no, that's not right. 78, of course not. That's 15,300. So not 78, I think 38. There we go. And so if you get the answer right, you'll see that you get a green check mark, and it will give you a total for how many you've earned out of the one possible point, basically. So, you've got 0.33 points out of one for this first question. And you have, I think, 3 tries you can go back through to get 100% on the homework. So if you don't have the score you want when you finish, you can retake it, and it will automatically provide that score to Canvas, and it'll be represented in your Canvas gradebook right when you finish. It's automatically linked that way, which is nice. And yeah, pretty straightforward. You'll just click through next, and you have this check figure to make sure that you're getting it all right. Okay, so with all that said, though, in terms of figuring out how to do all of the work there, if you click on this link that says to view Chapter 1 homework walkthrough video, it'll take you to this playlist, which has all of the Chapter 1 resources, and you'll see Chapter 1 homework walkthrough. And so here you see you've got a 48-minute video of me completing essentially all of the same homework. So you can follow along all things that. And I explain, how to answer the equation, answer the problems. I provide additional context as it goes through. Again, you can kind of see maybe on your video here how this is a little grainy. Again, on my side, I see that. And so if I go to update the quality and then go full screen, it typically makes it assets equal liabilities plus. That's still a tiny bit grainy, but anyway. But here you can see a walkthrough of the video of how to answer all these questions. One thing to note is that my numbers in this video are going to be a little different than the numbers you get, because the online homework resources randomize some of this information as you go. So my understanding is that your information here, the numbers will be a little different, but overall the problems are very similar. So if you're stuck anywhere, or you're just following along with me, you should be able to watch what I'm doing and copy my actions, even though the resulting summations and numbers might really be a little different because the homework software changes things every time for each student a little bit, just to make it different, so it prevents like copying, I guess, or cheating. But you can follow along with the logic of what I'm doing, and I basically explain how to solve the problem and what are the concepts to be aware of when you're doing those homework problems. It should get you through. Again, the numbers will be a little bit different, but it should be, essentially the same problems, and you'll have the same number of problems, so on and so forth. And so when you finish your homework here, now, unlike the notes and unlike the workbook exercises, which I'll talk about in a moment, you're not going to have to upload anything. As I mentioned previously, this is integrated with Canvas, and so it automatically takes the grade that you earn and inputs that into your gradebook. And it should be very easy as long as you can access this, work through it, watch the video. And, as far as like watching the video, it's possible to do, if you just have a computer with one screen, you're on a laptop or something, you can watch the video and then you could click over and do the work and go back and watch the video. But if you're able to like watch this on a phone or a tablet or a second computer screen, if you have multiple screens or something to that effect, so you can kind of side by side watch this while you're completing the homework, that would be the most efficient way possible. So I'll leave that all up to you all to figure out how to accomplish that. But that's what I would recommend is having, either like an iPad or something there that you can watch, or a second monitor is really ideal. That's what I have in my system, so that you could watch my video on one screen and then have the actual homework you're completing on the second screen to see those side by side. So anyway, take advantage of those resources there, and take advantage of my basically walking you through the entire homework assignment. Okay, now let's take a look at the workbook exercises. I am going to go into student view here because we're not going to have to access the online textbook resources to do the workbook exercises, unlike the homework we were just looking at. So for the workbook exercises, as I mentioned previously, those are due a week after. So you're going to do a bunch of work. We're going to do lecture. We're going to do in-class assignments for chapter 1. So you should be feeling pretty good about chapter 1. And then you have this extra week to really do some of the extra work for the workbook exercises. But don't hesitate if you want to get caught up, feel free to do this as soon as possible if you'd like to get ahead of your coursework. That's totally fine as well. But you're going to click into your workbook exercises, and it's going to tell you which specific problems we're going to complete. And you're going to be doing these in Excel. So you are going to need to get that Microsoft Office suite downloaded, all the programs, including Excel. And so you want to have Excel available for completing the assignment. And that's free through Butte. So make sure you've got a copy of that. And, you could also go to the computer lab if need be. Let me know if you're having any issues with computer access or anything, and I can try and help figure that out for you. But you will need to be able to get into Microsoft Excel. Worst case scenario, there are PDF copies of these same problems that you could print out and complete by hand if that's a necessity, but I would greatly prefer that you do the work in Excel. Okay. So let's take a quick look at what these workbook exercises look like. Okay, so here I've downloaded and opened a copy of the Microsoft Excel workbook exercise workbook here in spreadsheet. You might see a yellow kind of line or a bar or row at the top when you first open the Excel file, and you'll have to click Enable Editing potentially. So once you get past that, you should see these 3 different tabs with different work problems to complete: AP 8B, AP 14A, and AP 15B. So these are all here for you in Excel, like I said. Excel is different. This is just a spreadsheets that I created for us to work together in. So it's not like that homework online textbook resource where you can click a button and it checks you and all that kind of stuff. This is different, and it's something that I just created. My goal in this class is for you to learn a little bit about Excel and become familiar with it, comfortable navigating and learning how to do some of the formulas and things of that nature. So that's why I've created this Excel document to work in. Excel is a very important software in any accounting or finance setting, in a role, any job. And honestly, it's really important in a lot of jobs, and you can find a lot of uses for spreadsheets and keeping track of things, even if you're not in accounting or finance. So I see a lot of value in learning Excel at a certain level, and so that's why I've put kind of a heavy focus on doing this work. And I don't expect you to have any Excel experience necessarily to begin with. Just like with the videos for the homework, I also have a set of videos for the workbook exercises that will guide you through step by step how to solve the problem, but also how to create the formulas and things of that nature as I go through and complete the problems with you in the video. And so hopefully that will help you be able to understand Excel a little better and also complete the problems in addition. So let me hop back over to the other screen for Canvas, and I'll show you just real quick what those videos look like. Very straightforward. Okay, so now we're back onto the Canvas page here. So again, this is where you download that Excel. You need to download that onto your computer, and then you'll open it up in Microsoft Excel, and you'll do your work there. And then, again, just like we had with the homework, you'll click this link that takes you to the Chapter 1 resources. And then I create separate videos for each of the workbook exercise problems. So here for AP 8B, the first problem in the series, for Chapter 1 of Workbook Exercises, we can take a look at that. And so you'll see this is a walkthrough video with commentary, and you'll watch me basically go through and explain and complete the problem, and also explain and complete explain what I'm doing from an Excel perspective as well, so you can follow along. And you can see that this especially this first video, especially it being the very first video that we have in the workbook exercises and we have in Excel, it is a bit longer. It's about 42 minutes. And so I do spend quite a bit of time going through and just explaining some of the basic Excel concepts here. Future videos for workbook exercises will not be that long. But like I said, for this first one, I wanted to spend a little more time making sure that I was going into detail and explaining the concepts of the Excel related work in addition to the accounting concepts that we'll be working through. And you'll find that these look really familiar to the in-class assignments, which I will discuss in a future video here in the next and last video in our Getting Started series. And that is by design. In class, we will do some problems by hand. I would love for you all to be able to do it in Excel, but we don't have computers in front of all of us. So we'll be answering problems that are very similar to this, but via, just on paper, essentially in class. And then when we come to the workbook exercises, we're going to do a very similar thing to what we did in the in-class assignment. But again, I've created these spreadsheets to work through so that you can kind of do a similar solution, but in Microsoft Excel, essentially. So again, these are very detailed videos. They go from start to finish, and there's nothing, as long as you're watching along, again, I recommend, a second screen if you have it, or a laptop, or an iPad, or on your phone, or however makes it most efficient. But having this open and following along while you're completing the assignments is ideal. Okay, so that's the videos there. Let me get out of that. And yeah, that pretty much covers everything that you'll need. Oh, I'm sorry, one other thing here. The Chapter 1 workbook exercises will be submitted online here. And as I'm saying this, I think that, I put on paper. Okay, let me do one quick edit here. Bear with me. I'll fix this for all future online external tool. So we'll do a file upload. It'll look just like we looked at for the notes and how to get, for the notes, we'll have a picture of the notes that you will be submitting, right? And, like I was mentioning, having a Canvas app and taking a picture is the ideal method for submission there. But for Excel, you're not taking a picture, you're actually saving that Excel file somewhere that you can access later. So once you complete the whole workbook exercise in Excel and you've got that file that you can access, then you can either just drag that here, or you can click on this and it'll come up with a screen that allows you to navigate to that specific file. But I want you to upload the actual Excel file, not a picture of the Excel or a PDF. Don't try to print it and then upload it. It just makes things really wonky. I want to see the original Excel file. And when I see the original Excel file, I can also then analyze it, and I can see that you actually did the work and put the formulas in and completed all the tabs, so on and so forth. So that is the requirement there. So yeah, once you complete that process, that basically covers all of, we talked about the homework and we talked about the workbook exercises. So those are the two things you're going to be doing, at home outside of class, essentially. I mean, you are going to watch the video lecture and notes outside of class, but this is the bulk of the work that you'll be doing outside of class when it comes to homework type activities. Okay. All right, so I'll make one more video now. Again, a separate video, but the final one in this series. And I want to just talk quickly about our in-class quizzes and our in-class assignments. So I will do that, and I'll see you in that video next. All right, thanks, everybody.